So the anticipated Genshin Impact 3.0 update is nearly upon us. Lots of new characters to look forward to, and lots of returning characters too. Zhang Li, Ganyu, and Kokumi are coming back, allowing many of us to waste more gems on their banners. How's it going, everyone? This is Kay, and I'll break down who you should pull for on the 3.0 banners. First is Tinari, the first 5-star Dendro in the game. His playstyle focuses on charge level 2 shots, similar to Ganyu. He even has a taunt ability, so many players joke around saying he's the Dendro Ganyu, and they aren't entirely wrong. Fundamentally, you'll use him in a similar way, although most of his talents have homing missile effects instead of an AoE attack like Ganyu. Think of him as a cross between Ganyu's skills and Ningguang's burst. Since he's a charge-focused character, he'll most likely have some of the same weaknesses as Ganyu, even Yoimiya, when playing her wrong. Yes, Yoimiya does have a charge level 2. Bet most of you forgot about that because it's so neglected. This means a problem you'll encounter are interruptions while charging, either from getting hit or dodging. Also, if you're terrible at aiming, especially for mobile-only players, well, just get good. I'm just joking, but it can be a problem for some players. But the biggest difference between him and Ganyu are the elemental reactions, which is enough to separate him entirely from existing characters. In terms of how strong he is, as with every newly introduced characters in the game, biggest advice is to wait a couple days after the release, even a week, especially Tighnari, since we don't fully understand how strong Dendro reactions are yet. So there's no rush, especially when you'll need to farm for his materials in their new region. Next is Zhang Li, who has been around for quite some time now, being one of the earlier limited characters you can get when the game was still relatively new. Even so, he's still one of the best units in the game. As you know, many players joke around saying Genshin is on easy mode when using Zhang Li. Though he's not perfect, that statement is still true. Being the best shielder in the game with almost constant uptime means you're not taking any damage unless the shield breaks before the cooldown. Not being hit means there are no interruptions during your attack, so you don't have to worry about low health, dodging, or being staggered. He's perfect for charge shot focused characters like Ganyu, DPS Amber, and even Tighnari. He's amazing with other Geo users who can also create constructs allowing you to widen your support and damage if you're using the Melolith set. His Jade Shield also decreases enemies' physical and elemental resistance, further adding to his support capabilities, but he isn't just a good support. His damage isn't too bad either, thanks to his burst. An extra 70k or so damage isn't too bad. Even more damage can be done with his burst with good artifacts. On top of that, enemies can be petrified for a brief moment, which is excellent for creating a short breathing time or to stop enemies from moving. But obviously, he isn't perfect. Geo isn't the best reaction in the game, especially when Abyss requires clearing the stage very fast. Speaking about Abyss, Zhang Li is great for protecting allies from hard bosses or interruptions, but he is a slow damage dealer. Abyss heavily lean towards DPS characters, therefore most players want support that can reliably increase damage or cause high damage. So aside from his burst, you're basically just sitting on his shield until it's ready, and the Geo construct damage and range isn't that great, especially if you don't have a C1 Zhang Li. Overall, he is a top tier character, and you basically won't ever have to worry about dying in the game, which in itself is highly impressive. Ganyu is one of the best damage dealers in the game, and for good reasons. Her charge shots basically hits like a truck and then explodes on impact, destroying everything around her. Ganyu's charge is her main weapon, meaning there's no reliance on skill or burst unlike other DPS units. Basically, she has no wait time. Ganyu also has two incredible reactions, Melt for insane damage and Freeze for amazing stalling. On top of being an incredible DPS character, she's also fairly easy to build. One of her best bow, the Prototype Crescent, can be forged, allowing you to have an R5 4-star bow if you have the materials. Artifacts is also very flexible, ranging from the Wanderer's trope, which you should have plenty of, to the Blizzard set, offering substat flexibility thanks to her crit rate boost effect. Now, if you don't like using her as a main DPS character, which I don't understand why not, cause she's awesome, but Ganyu is an excellent cryo enabler as well. First, her skill taunts and deals cryo damage twice, once from casting, another when it explodes. But her AoE burst covers an incredibly wide range, and what's better is that energy cost is pretty low, so basically, it's spammable. Some problems you'll face when using Ganyu is her reliance on charge shots, which I've mentioned before. It isn't required, but having a shielder can prevent interruptions, otherwise Ganyu is open to stagger or you'll be forced to dodge. Basically just wasting time if you aren't able to fire her attack. Also, aiming can be a problem under pressure, or sometimes you'll just miss. But despite these minor flaws, Ganyu is among the top tier characters because of the amount of damage she can deal, which is well worth destroying your wallet for. And finally, we have Kokumi. Poor girl, she was hated by players upon her first release, but it's good to see her getting some more recognition now. Kokumi is Genshin's best healer and is great against corrosion or any effects that slowly chips away at your health. If her burst is consistent enough, you're practically unkillable thanks to all the healing. But above all else, she's surprisingly a good damage dealer while in her burst states. Of course, she isn't dealing massive damage like Ganyu or Hu Tao, but her being able to hit decently while also healing your entire party is extremely helpful, especially in boss fights and even in Abyss. Her Hydro application is also quite strong, not on the same level as Xingqiu or Yelan, but still solid for reactions when she's attacking. Now, there are of course problems that sort of drags her down a bit. Kokumi's burst is her greatest strength, but it can also cause some inconveniences. Much like many characters that rely on entering and maintaining their burst modes, they are required to take the field, but in Kokumi's case, she takes time away from your main DPS character. If she is your main DPS, that's great, but there are better damage dealers you can use that can far surpass her damage. You do have the option to switch her out immediately after you're done healing, but then you're not fully utilizing Kokumi in battle, and you'll be far better off with a healer who can heal while being off-field. Most importantly, you need Kokumi's burst because without it, she's not really going to offer much to your team, so it's a requirement, and if you can't use her burst in time, then your rotations will be ruined. So the question is, who should you pull for? Tighnari is in last place, not because he's bad or anything, we just don't know yet. By all means, he could be broken. Not only is he a new character, but Dendro Reactions is an entirely new combat system. As mentioned before, wait until players can really experiment with the character and the elements before making a decision, but if you've already made your decision pulling him, then go for it. Among the 3 returning characters, who should you get? Zhang Li is the best out of the 3.0 characters. I personally would consider him broken because he absolutely makes the game easy. Yes, he isn't the best in timed battles, but outside that one flaw, he's viable in almost all combat situations. He fits into any team, he's easy to use, relatively simple to build, and his character design looks absolutely amazing, which is the biggest reason above all else. I'm joking, but he really is that good. Beginners especially should go for him. With Zhang Li, you won't ever have to worry about dodging unless the shield breaks, in which case, start panicking. Ganyu is the second character I'd recommend. I would actually recommend her over Zhang Li if you need or want a DPS character. Not everyone really needs the best shielder in the game, and Zhang Li is also pretty boring to use. But Ganyu is someone who is great at time trials because she doesn't rely on skills and bursts to deal massive damage. Basically no wait time as I mentioned before. Just one of her charge shots can deal nearly as much damage as Zhang Li's burst, sometimes even more depending on your builds, and she can fit into 2 roles, a damage dealer role or a cryo enabler. There are better cryo enablers, but Ganyu being able to fit into 2 roles makes her more viable in different team compositions. And lastly, we have Kokumi, who is not a bad character. No characters are bad in this game. Everyone has different situations and abilities that makes them stand out, which is why Genshin is so fun. Well, actually, there are some bad characters, but you know what I mean. But in this situation, at the 3.0 banners, we have a choice between a top tier shielder support like Zhang Li or a top tier DPS character like Ganyu. Kokumi has her incredible healing and consistent damage, but in terms of support, if Zhang Li's shield never breaks, you don't really need healing aside from corrosion. Shield also stops interruptions while Kokumi's healing doesn't. In terms of damage, a couple of Ganyu's charge shots will out-damage Kokumi's, who is required to use her burst to deal decent damage. There are better Hydro enablers as well, and if you need healing and you have a Bennett, well, he's the better option for most battles. She also doesn't offer much support either. You can use the Megalith, but then Zhang Li would be better for that artifact support. At the end of the day, always go for the characters you like. The game is meant to be enjoyed, but keep in mind, top tier characters and the meta and everything does make your life a little bit easier while playing the game, without a doubt. I'm personally looking forward to Tighnari, but comment down below to let me know who you're planning to pull for. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for future Genshin Impact videos. As always, good luck on your pulls, especially on the 3.0 banners. Till next time everyone, take care.